All right. Welcome, everybody. I decided to go early, just a couple seconds. My guest was like, holy crap, it's the longest countdown ever. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. You don't realize it when you're sitting there watching it. It's just like watching grass grow, I guess, before that thing goes. Anyway, hey, welcome to your Friday. You made it. And if you're anywhere near me, and I hope here I'm in Northern Ohio, and the weather finally is beautiful. It's 75, according to my little thing here on the computer. That's awesome. I'm locked in the basement, so at least until the show's over, and then I'm going outside. I should have done the show outside. I should have just grabbed the laptop, gone up there, and done it. My guess, I can see him. He's shaking his head. Yes, absolutely. But yeah. Oh, you got winds, Megan, huh? I don't have any winds. It says it's windy, but I was just upstairs and I had to jet down here because almost forgot about the podcast. And I was like, uh-oh, we got to get down there. So yeah, not windy here as of yet, but it it's Ohio. Like we say here, it's like, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute, it will change. So, and that's very true. So there we go. We got a good show lined up. Good show lineup. Not an old person, but an old guest of the show that's been on the show probably, oh, great goodness, I don't know. It's been quite a few times. So you'll see him in just a minute, but I do have some other things to run through prior to that. I always forget this. If you are not a member of Cyber Social Hub, why not is my first question. Why not? Because it is... I'm trying to unlock my screen. There we go. It is free, 100% free. And you get access to all sorts of resources. And if you're not, at least join up for the mailing list. You can head over to cybersocialhub.com and sign up. Also, make sure you guys, I don't know which button's the right button here. I'm going to screw this thing up. I'll just use the one on the corner there. It says subscribe. There you go. See it down there in the corner. What that does is helps YouTube algorithm. It is a Google thing for investigators looking for, I guess I don't want to claim us as interesting, but interesting or informative. And there may be another misnomer as well, but information on digital investigations. So they can easily find us. Google thinks that we're actually liked. I know. And then they'll put us higher in the list of search. So there it is with that. Okay. So let me move on to this next one here. Make sure I'm still not muted. All right. So there's some free stuff for you from our friends over at Page Freezer. Now, you guys know Facebook is a wealth of information. I think there's, 3 billion active users monthly? Insane. Absolutely insane. So, lots of resources for digital investigators on gathering, intelligence on individuals, organizations, groups, businesses, events, whatever. It's on Facebook. You're bound to find it. And this guide right here that you're seeing, that's called the Facebook OSINT Investigation Guide, is absolutely free to you. Friends over there at Page Freezer, if you've ever seen their webinars they've done with this, phenomenal, amazing work. They're going to give you this guide for free, and you're going to learn some real practical techniques for how to search profiles, posts, analyze different group activities. Also, might be able to uncover some hidden connections and kind of tackle those challenges of investigating private profiles, because we know those are a bear to go after. And also, of course, capturing legally defensive evidence before it gets deleted. That's the important part for what we do, right? If you're just a stalker, don't download it, because it's going to arm you with some things that don't do it. But yeah, you see the QR code over there. I'm hoping it works for everybody. Let me know if it does not. I am going to have to put a link to this in the show notes somewhere, because I realized when we switch to afterwards, this goes audio only, like on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Then you guys can't obviously see the QR code. We want to make it available to you. So look in the show notes. I'll have something for you guys together. All right. If you guys haven't been paying attention, again, thanks to our friends at Page Freezer. Again, highly recommend you guys go check that out. And if you need it a couple seconds longer, I'll leave it back, or I can always go back to it. Not a big deal. All right. So as you know, or you may or may not know, something that we could could do is this, or have done in the past shows, is we're giving away all kinds of swag. Why? Because Kevin got a laser. What's it called? Just a laser engraver. That's, I guess, is the proper term. Where I have all kinds of fun stuff, and some of it's branded to Cyber Social Hub. Some of it's just fun stuff. So we're picking someone who goes to this QR code and just signs up. And we'll pick a winner out of that. It's random. We have a randomizer that just says pick it, and it picks it for us, and we ship you this thing. So if you get random mail from us, that's what it is. It's going to be some kind of weird swag. This is the one I don't know if I showed this last week or not, because it's still sitting here. I'm guessing I had it in front of my desk for a reason. This black stuff on here won't be on here when we ship it. It washes right off. Don't worry about it. But I need it on there for the laser not to pass right through the glass, right? And you can see kind of here, it says Cyber Social Hub on this side. And it's just going to be white on the glass. And then on this side, it says Nerd Police. And it's not going to focus real well, but there it is. It says Nerd Police. I don't have one that's like not, I don't think I do. No, I do, right here. I put my pens in it. So this one is one of our products. It just says Blue Line Intel. I have foam in it just for, and then the American flag on it. So yeah, we got all kind of neat stuff. That way you can see what it looks like without the black chalky material that the laser needs to cut the glass on it. But the secret word, here it is. It's not Ovaltine. So those of you who get that are my new heroes. Those of you who don't, you'll have to figure it out on your own. The actual secret word is Truxton. All right. So go to the QR code, fill out the information, and now you know the secret word for this particular podcast. Now, here's the catch. There's a catch. Yeah. So if you're watching this podcast, we go live on Fridays. Today is April 18th, and Eastern time right now in US is 2:08 p.m. If you're watching this sometime on Monday, after April 18th, we take the form down. So we leave it up for just a few days over the weekend and part of the day on Monday. The real reason is when we get to it to take the form down on Monday. And so that's your opportunity. So that way people in our audience can watch this too. I'll put this again in the show notes. If you're listening to us on audio only, then you'll also get the opportunity to click here. But again, if you click here and it's not the same one, then you won't be able to get there. So sorry about your luck. Okay, now I am through all of that stuff. I did it in 9 minutes. I'm getting faster, which is still, we're trying different formats out for the show to keep things a little bit more interesting as well. And if you guys did not know, I don't have the QR code up for it this time, but we're running a survey ourselves, and you've probably seen an email for it. If you have an email from us, please fill that out. We're looking for real feedback on some stuff that we're up to for maybe next year at this point. It's a lot to build some of that stuff out. But go ahead and take that survey if you want to. All right, now without further ado, I am going to bring on our host and guest in one single frame here, and click it and see if I can blow anything up. Oh no, it's chat. Hey, there we go. Megan says the QR code's working. Thanks. Now let's try it there. There he is. Hey Dave, how are you?
Hey Kevin, long time no see. Been a while.
Absolutely. A couple seconds ago, right? Before the show started.
Yeah. I've met the Royal a long time. I haven't been on the podcast in probably over a year, I think. So
has it been that long? You were on for we had you on there a lot. I'm slowly turning your volume up here. I didn't check that ahead of time. I think Megan might be yelling at me for your volume being too low. There we go. There we go. Now Dave's up. All right. Yeah. How long has it been since you've been on the show?
It's been a while. We did a webinar yesterday on automated reports and that sort of stuff. That was a lot of fun. So it's good to get back in touch with some people that I haven't seen online in quite some time. So good to be here.
That's right. Megan says it's been over a year since you've been on. Holy cow. Really? That long? That's insane.
A year. Look at that.
That's too long. Well, I'm glad you're back. So welcome back.
Me too. Yeah.
And I'm going to task Megan here real quick before she starts ignoring us here. Megan, if you have a link to that webinar from yesterday, um, let me know if you don't mind, and we'll put it up here, or I'll put it in the show notes. That way, people can go and see that webinar if you didn't get a chance to sign up for it. Now you have it. So there you go. There you go. So Dave, what have you been up to, sir?
Well, we released something called Truxton Community Edition, which is a free version of Truxton to the forensic community and academics, students, and things like that. And that came live right in January, I think. So most of our time in forensics has been pushing that product. A lot of people have downloaded it. A lot of people are liking it. And it kind of gets to the point that today's topic is about silos and things like that. So, you know me, I've got my props and that sort of stuff. I was a little dismayed there that you have some audio only listeners and that sort of stuff. So it won't be as fun for them, but you'll just have to use your mind's eye or something like that. But before
they can come over to YouTube and they can go over to YouTube and take a look just at the visuals. So if they really want to see it.
And speaking of props, tell me more about the laser engraving. So I think you should have a blooper section of the things that you engrave that catch on fire. So has anything caught on fire yet? Or are you doing wood? Just glass?
Yeah, I did wood just because I wanted to try it. The engraver's over here. You can't see it. It's just off camera. It's pretty big. Actually, the air filtration system is larger than the actual laser itself, just so I don't die. Apparently, when you burn things like weird chemicals, poisonous. It's so strange to me, but
yeah. In nerd terms, they're called fume extractors, Kevin.
Yeah. So one of the things here,
I know a guy if you need one.
One of the things, and Dave's, I've known you so long, I'll give you one. I don't know. You probably have a better wallet than this one. But this little guy right here, I don't know if you can, hide my eyes here. There it goes. Oh, it focused on it. So I engraved the flag onto it. And then I engraved, now don't laugh, I only have $5, but I can put whatever logo in here as well. So that's just one of the things that we did. You saw the glasses. I have other stuff, but it involves me jumping off camera for a second. So hold on. Whoop.
How did Megan not put in, I keep the big bills on the outside when she saw that? She's slipping. I thought that would pop up in the chat immediately.
Well, you got to remember, we're 15-second delayed.
Okay.
So we said that in the future. Yeah. So this thing is really cool. It's a bottle opener, right? Which, if you drink out of bottles still, but this thing is made out of steel. I can't bend it. It is solid, and just a small stack of them. Megan, we were talking about that small stack of them I had the other day. It's about like that, 5 pounds. This thing's heavy. And then here's Dave. We can put whatever we want on the side. I'll let you guys, decode that in your.
What is that?
Yeah, you got to decide. It's binary code, right? You got to figure out what that says. And then on the other side, obviously, we put our QR code to sign up for the hub. So that's another piece. And then what else do we got, Megan? We got all kinds of stuff.
Can you do stuff like this still? Remember these?
Yeah. Look at that awesome picture.
That's a great picture of you, isn't it?
That is. Cartoon me. Yeah, we had that. That's all we did on all of our business cards for quite some time is
See how well they work? I still have one.
Yeah. You use it to keep track of your golf ball, don't you? That's your
No, I use it to buy cigarettes in Green, Texas. There's an old cigarette machine that still takes coins. So this is like a Canadian $2 coin or something, I think is the size. Doesn't work in a lot of
Yeah, don't try to use that in a casino. You might get arrested. So it'd be funny, and then they'd find me. No, not really.
Not
no.
really.
And then I have some of these too. I'm off camera. Hold on. So I'll come back. So I have these little guys. I got to hide my eyes from the camera. It says Forensicator on it. Oops. It's just a bottle opener. There it goes. It says Forensicator. And it's just a little bottle opener. These I had to get creative with because getting them in the same spot. So anyway, I'm just nerded out. I got a 3D printer. Hold on. I'll just show you.
And an
This.
engraver?
Yeah. So here's how I print on those little things. I got to hold these on here. I had to build 3D print this jig, and then these little guys will lay down right inside of it. So it gets it in the same spot every time. So it just goes under the laser like that. I know, completely nerded out.
Yeah.
But I've been having fun with it. So
that's good. And nothing caught on fire. So I don't see any fire damage or sprinkler damage or anything down in the studio. So that's a good thing.
I wouldn't say anything caught on fire, but I did catch a piece of wood on fire, and it stunk up my whole office. Yep. Even with the filter running full speed, it was still pretty stinky down here for a few days. I didn't know metal would catch fire. Apparently it does. Yeah, I didn't know that.
These lasers.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I tried to cut one of those things in half, these thick metal things. Why not? Hey, give me a laser. I'm going to try to cut something. And man, it will. With enough passes, it will, but it may take you a while. And, fire extinguisher nearby, but you're good. You're good. You're good. Oh, Megan tells me about your webinar yesterday. If you go to cybersocialhub.com/webinars, then you guys can sign up for that still. It's on our replay page already. So I'm going to copy the link. I'll actually put it right here in there.
Oh, look at that. Right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
so what do you want
to
talk about today, Kevin?
What do we want to talk about? I don't know. I don't want to talk about anything. It's Friday. The weather, is it nice there weather-wise? You're a little bit further east than me. Yeah.
It's perfect.
And
I tried to do it AI myself, but not smart enough to do it. So
here I am scheduling these things on a Friday, opposed to a Wednesday or something. That's the way we've always rolled. Hey, tell me a little bit more about, and I know you talked about, I think you did anyway, the community edition on yesterday.
Yeah.
Some people may not know about it, and I know you talked about it just briefly when we first came on. What's some advantages of that? What can it do? Is there massive limitations? Like I can't print a report, or I can't.
So the folks that don't know what Truxton is an automated platform that's been around, I think Sam's up to 11 years on it now. So it's not a newfangled thing. And it was designed from day one to be this huge enterprise silo breaker. And the idea is that it was the first program that allowed you to put disparate media images from anything into one place. And the struggle to release Truxton to the community was taking that big, giant capability, enterprise capability, and putting it on a laptop. So we did the hard part first, and then shrunk it down to fit into a laptop or a tablet, whatever, anything with Windows, basically. And the idea behind Truxton is just think of it as a forensic bucket. So the idea, I always tell Megan and others, the best way to describe Truxton is think of it as using 1970s sitcoms to solve today's forensic challenges, right? So if you remember Gilligan's Island, where they were trying to court-martial the skipper, right? And they kept, I guess that was early waterboarding. Right, so they throw buckets of water on. You can find it on YouTube or whatever.
Right.
One of the more average, terrible Gilligan's Islands. But anyway, if you're a forensic investigator, that's kind of how you feel sometimes. You're just strapped to a coconut tree, and people are just throwing palm tree buckets of water at you until you can't take anymore. You're just overwhelmed by the tsunami of data coming in, right? And it's not just the volume of data, it's the different types. So just think about the folks that come on this podcast? So I know my friend Jansen's been on here with Desero, right? The guys from Page Freezer, cool product, by the way. And anybody else that comes on here, just over the last 5 years, look at how many tools, new tools there are that give you capabilities, or tools that have been around for a while that all of a sudden do a lot more things. So I caught up with Megan's mom here. Where's my camera? I saw Megan's mom's watch here. So there's an Apple Watch, right? Okay. What tool does the best job of getting data out of an Apple Watch? We'll throw it to the comments section. Anybody that's out there. So
holy cow, I don't even know that anymore.
Once upon a time,
I haven't done an exam forever.
I know Jeremy Kirby and the guys at Data Pilot now do that. So you can hitch that up to a Data Pilot and get that. And I know that Mobile Edit does a pretty good job with it nowadays. So all of these different tools, what happens is that I have a bunch of specialized tools. Maybe it's for an Apple Watch. Maybe it's something for like a CFID, for a drone, or Jansen stuff, Desero. But a Garmin, like a Garmin fitness watch, well, that worked out really well for the people that are just listening. I'm holding up a Garmin watch that you can't see.
I keep forgetting to remind people to do that. Yeah.
So if you're doing something, what you need to do is you would choose the best tool to get the data, right? Should that be a rule 1 in digital forensics? Use the best tool to pull the data out of the device.
Yeah, so Ron's got his opinion what it is. If you see it down there, put it.
There you go. A hammer. Yeah. Shout out to Ron Mays, a hammer. Very, very good. I think you get my point. Is use the tool that works best. If I got a car, I'm using Burla. If I got a drone, probably using Desero because Jensen might let me use it for free, right? You know,
right.
And if I'm on a web page doing OSINT, I'm probably using Page Freezer, right? So I have all these different sources. And then, you know, I was talking with you last week about props. Look at this.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Microscope of some type.
But guess what? It's all digital. It has like an SD card that goes in the top of it and that sort of stuff. This microscope is only designed to look at coins. Okay,
really?
So if I'm looking at a coin, yeah, it has a little thing. I was looking at your coin.
Hang on, I'm going to bring this up a little bit.
Yeah, so I was looking at this.
You keep showing my coin. Man.
And the best tool to do that was this. So when I was a kid, you know, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, whenever it was, you just had this thing. I could put a coin under it. I could put a bug under it. I could put an ant under it. I could do whatever. But now it's so specialized that they have one dedicated to just coins. Okay, so we talk about silos. We can also use an equivalent of microscopes. Right? So a specialized tool is a microscope dedicated to just that thing. Coins, phones, drones, automobiles, whatever. Right? And what is the first job of a forensic acquisition tool? Probably to get the stuff out of the phone, the car, whatever. What is the second job? Probably to do some analysis and basic reporting. Okay, what if I have 1,500 phones? What if I want to compare 1,500 phones with 1,500 hard drives and 500 drones and 700 cars? Well, Dave, no one ever does that. Look what else I found next to your coins.
Man, I'm nervous here. What do you got there?
I have the NGIC's Quick Guide to Gangs. So there's two funny things about gang investigation. Well, I guess they're not funny. It's a serious topic, right? Okay, so see all these federal agencies there?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's a consortium standing together against gangs. We got the Homeland Security, we got the FBI, we got the Secret Service, we got the Department of Defense, we got CBP, we got DEA, we got all of them, right? So you can have siloed forensic images that come from different sources, and you can have siloed organizations or teams that might be from different organizations, or they could be in different geographic locations. So it's kind of like a wheel with a bunch of spokes. Is there any way that you can effectively get to the middle of that and give them a hub and let them put all their crap in there at once? So kind of back to the sitcoms thing, you got your Truxton bucket, you throw all your stuff in the Truxton bucket. The next step is the I Love Lucy conveyor belt. Remember the one where all the things are going down the conveyor belt and they're putting the cherries on top?
Oh
It
yeah.
speeds up and there's too many of them. What
We're
happens?
showing our age, Dave. We
Yeah,
know this.
you can find it's a good episode. So anyway, the point is that when you get too much stuff on your conveyor belt, all the good stuff falls on the floor and creates a big mess. You have to stop the conveyor belt and you don't get any work done. And then the last one is, if you remember the Batman and Robin TV show from the 60s. And even if you're young and you don't remember that, look it up. It's just so ridiculously bad. It's good. It's great. The badness is what makes it good. They would go down into the Bat Cave and they had this Bat computer, which was nothing but, I think, blocks of styrofoam with little flashing lights. Probably looks like your laser engraver or something. Where Batman would stand next to Robin and they'd put in the Riddler's riddle or whatever, and they put in the facts, and all of a sudden an index card comes out with the answer. So that's automated forensics, right? Well, how can I believe that it's true? You put all this stuff in a bucket. How do I know that that's real? That card. Are you right? How do I find out if you're right? And a lot of people really, for good reason, don't trust automated forensics. But if you kind of look at Truxton and look for yourself, go to truxtonforensics.com, download the free software, and put in 5 gray key polls, right? And just see what happens. Once you put things in the bucket, you automatically get preliminary reports. A summary of all your media, a summary of all the unique artifacts, consolidated contacts, all the phones, address books are put together in one thing and deduped, and a geographic locations report. So if there's 400 pictures in there and there's 377 EXIFs, there's a KMZ. Bang, put it in Google Earth, put it in Bing. So if you show me the where, I can probably find out the when. So the idea is to kind of give you the 20% that likely matters automatically on a silver platter. So that's what Truxton does. The community edition, what's the catch, right? There's only 3 things that you can't really do with it. Number 1, you're limited to 25 pieces of media. Okay? So you can only
still quite a bit.
Most cases, well, we did a survey. I think maybe the last time I was on this podcast. What's the largest number or the typical number of pieces of evidence that you have in a case? And most of them were under 25. So we said, okay, we're going to give this out for free and we're going to limit you to 25. The cool thing is there's no limit on the size. So if you had a 4 terabyte hard drive, that counts as 1. Put it in there. And then the 2 other things that it won't do, you have to run it on a single machine. You can't do a server client installation with it.
Oh, right.
and it
Makes sense.
and it doesn't have simultaneous. It doesn't allow multiple investigators to work simultaneously on a case. So if you need or if you want those things, then hey, give us some money and we'll cut you loose, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right on.
But
And
so
I saw it made in the USA, so you have no tariffs. Look at that.
yeah, and like I said, it's been a huge hit with our friend Bob Osgood in a lot of schools.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a student and you want to learn digital forensics, Truxton is a great way to get into it. And the reason I say that is not just because it's free. Because Truxton is an automation platform that gives you preliminary reports. If you don't know anything about forensics, it almost teaches you what to look for. So if I find somebody off the street, so we always need more digital forensics investigators. High burnout job, and every case has a digital element. So we need more and more people to learn how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, how do you go from ground zero? And all of the extraction, the software is expensive, and it should be. You always have to change it to keep up. I mean, there's reasons for that. The training is expensive. It's meticulous. It's detailed. So nothing against that stuff. But what Truxton allows a student or somebody new to forensics, they can understand the concept of a bucket. Hey, these are the three people that are accused of the crime. I've got their three phones. Okay. I'll use a tool to pull the data out of the phones. Now what do I do? Well, if you throw that into a Truxton bucket, go through the conveyor belt and pop out the card, those summary reports will give an indication to a student of this is what Truxton found to be interesting. These are the type of things that maybe you should look for as a human rather than a computer. The guy that wrote Truxton has been in digital forensics since 29 years. Okay, so when he's looking to pull data out of files, in the old days, the software you would use, you would get a file pile. Oh, here's a folder of Word documents. And if I wanted to find Kevin DeLong inside those things, well, I start at document 1 and I go to document 200 until I find it. Truxton automatically pulls the information out of documents, out of spreadsheets, out of track logs, out of messages. So it's kind of almost giving you the answer key to give you an idea of what you should look for. So one of our fun internal exercises, we usually save it for the third Friday of the month. But when people put out capture the flags,
Mm-hmm.
so you'll see a forensic event. Join our capture the flag event. It's a 3-day event where you have all this stuff. So as soon as they make that data set available, we throw it into Truxton, and then we wait. We get our reports in, 5 minutes, and then we wait for them to ask the final exam. We're not perfect, but you would pass.
Gets you
You would
quite
be
a
a
bit of
high
the way there.
student. Yeah. And, again, a lot of folks, automated forensics, okay. The difference with Truxton is when we tell you this artifact is important, there's a link that allows you to go all the way down to the hex, just like your other tools. So it's not going to be as good or as detailed as WinHex. That's not our purpose in life. Our purpose in life is to be kind of like a force multiplier that allows forensic processing and correlation to happen 24/7. As long as your computer's on, it'll work. You can go back out on the street. You can go to court that day.
Hmm.
You can go on vacation, come back. And then that way, when you get back, you're going to have these reports, you're going to have that information. And then, as you can see from the webinar yesterday, I get a little stack of reports. What good does that do? Well, isn't this all about painting pictures? So if I'm a forensic investigator, I'm trying to solve a crime, right? Ron Mays, yes, you're going to Tabasco Island. Yeah, Dave's paying for vacation. Now, I'll do the work for you while you're on vacation, Ron. But basically, the idea is just if you have these reports, you can paint a picture. This is all the evidence, the media that I've collected. Step one. These are all the pieces of evidence, the artifacts that I found. This is all the communication that you had. These are all the places you went. And then I'll put it all on a timeline. Here's where you were, what you did, what happened. And the example that we used yesterday and in our training set is called phones, drones, and automobiles. So you can see that car door opened, ignition started, Bluetooth connected, call from number 1 to number 2, text message returned back, right? Then they drive down the road. They get out of the car. Wait a minute. Before, 2 doors open. This time only 1 did. Okay, 8 hours later, you find the car. There's still somebody in it. Not in really good shape, but there's still somebody in it.
Right.
But it's about painting a picture. So who do you want to paint a picture for? Prosecutor. A corporate board that's doing a review of, IP theft or something like that. 12 people in a box when the weather's nice outside. You're going to bore them? Well, I took the UFEDR and did this. It's like, okay, that CIA guy that they had the trial, that trial went into a mistrial because the forensic people bored them to death. It's like, what are you talking about? He went here, he did this, leave it at that. What about an accused? Hey, man, here's what we have. We put this into this thing we call Truxton. Here's what you did. Here's who you talked to. Here's where you went. Still want to fight this? Are we going to work on some kind of a deal? So again, it's painting the picture. And then the one that you're probably familiar with too, Kevin, is what about task force officers? How do you read in somebody to a case with all of that detail? Well, you could just give them the Truxton reports and say, hey, just glance over these and you'll get an idea of who's who. It's kind of, I'm going to explain the rules of Clue to you before we play, right? So Colonel Mustard's over here, whatever. So I think that's really where Truxton kind of comes in there. It does something uniquely different. And, our topic today is breaking down silos. Well, if you think about silos can be disparate media, right? So 5 siloed types of media. Here's all my car stuff. Here's all my drone stuff. Here's all my phone stuff. Here's all my hard drives. Okay, those are siloed because I used a specific microscope to get the data out. Mm-hmm. How can I unify that together and look at it all together? And most importantly, how do I correlate the information from those different sources? That's the fun part. That's the hard part. And that should be the automated part. Right?
Yeah, that was always the challenge, is bringing all of that that information together to, like you said, paint that picture, because you have so many different specialized tools that then I had to basically pop it all together and try to make sense, which was just a ton of time to try to do that. And you're saying that with Truxton, even the community edition, you can pop it together and essentially, the silo of your mobile forensic guy, and you might have different people depending on the size of the lab or the
Yeah.
division, that you may have separate things that you can bring that all together and kind of pop it in Truxton, and it makes more sense. At least it would to, like, because we have to. Some of the things that people forget is that they're explaining to grandmas on the jury sometimes, and if they don't explain it in a nice flow, it gets a little confusing.
Yeah. Tell a story, paint a picture. Grandma can watch Murder, She Wrote or Matlock all day long. So your job as a forensic investigator is probably to present it in a Matlock sort of way without the surprise ending, right? Because, you knew all along that this is what happened, and the rest is fodder, right? And the other thing about silos, have you ever heard of TGIA? It's not a restaurant.
TGIA.
Yeah. So there's something in Texas called the Texas Gang Investigators Association.
Okay.
So in Texas, I don't know how many they have. I think it's 9. It could be up to 13. But what Texas has done, the state of Texas set up these individual working groups in different regions. And they were solely dedicated to working on gang and international criminal organizations. So, yeah, they go out and, arrest people and that sort of stuff. But as you can imagine, think of this, each one of these locations is made up of local police departments or sheriff's offices, right? And then there's always an FBI, a DEA, a DHS, a CBP. So kind of when I had the gang handbook out. So they have all of these loosely affiliated organizations that all have their separate networks or separate permissions for data and all that sort of stuff. So you not only have the media that is in silos, you could have the organizations in silos. So we're one team at the Rio Grande Valley. And in that team, I have the city of San Marco or the FBI, all these different pieces of the organization. How do they work together? So that's a silo that you need to break, because to be effective, they need to work together and pass on their information. Okay, so this one little area in Rio Grande Valley, they can do work. Now, there's one in Houston. So Houston is their own ecosystem. So they're doing the same thing. Should Rio Grande Valley talk to Houston, talk to Austin, so regional silos, organizational silos, media silos. So you really want to find a way to bust through all of those. And then there are certain rules of engagement in terms of sharing information and evidence. So you need to be able to strategically say, no, this is sensitive data or classified data that has to be protected from here. And, the big enterprise version of Truxton can do those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the last point is, what if silos get full, right? So I don't know. I think it had to be 2 years ago, maybe even 3. I think we were at one of Jen's shows, techno security conferences, years back. And I can't remember where the guy was from, but he came up and he was like, yeah, can you read gray key polls? Because I think when gray key first came out, it didn't have any kind of analytical capability. It was just a tool that would just extract an image.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah, it's just a 7-zip file, I think, way back when. And said, well, I think I have 913 of them. And I said, that's okay. He's like, wait a minute. You can put 913 gray key poles in Truxton? Yeah. And what does it tell you? The same thing. It'll give you all those same reports. It's just a really big case. And then it was like, okay, well, what about correlations? And that's the key part. So my silo overflows. Well, how do you get rid of that data? You put it in a huge, limitless database, right? Well, Dave, that's expensive. It's Postgres. It's free. All it costs you is server space. Put it in the cloud. That's cheap.
Right.
There's ball guys all over the place giving you free stuff, right? As much storage as you want. But kind of the point is that when you fill up on those things, it allows you to clear out data from your working cases, retain it for historical intelligence or analysis. So let's say I have 500 gray key pulls from the state of Texas border crossings. And let's say I get 75 new phones every day. Well, if you add those 75 phones every day into Truxton, it'll automatically update the correlations. If phone number 52 that just came in correlates to something back from 3 years ago, it's going to make the correlation. It's going to put it in that report.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can also kind of like set alerts. So if you're looking for a certain phone number, an IMEI number, name, credit card number, password. So those sorts of things pop up. You can set alerts for that. And you can also set geographic alerts, which might be the coolest alert going. So imagine that. So if you had a drone, a car, or anything that leaves, a track log, if you will, boat, watch, anything like that. Anything that has geographic information in it, you could put in an alert for a spot in Truxton. So let's say a house. Was anybody within 100 meters of this house? I don't know. Well, here, I'm going to put 100 phones through here. And if any of those phones has a video, an EXIF photo, a cell tower ping, anything like that, it's going to say, the person that owned phone number 54 was at that location. They broke that geofence on Groundhog's Day at 2:35 p.m. So, military customers and ISR, so kind of like surveillance sort of teams.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place that no one really is supposed to know about, or they don't want anybody to go. And then if a car parks there or takes a picture or anything like that, then it'll trigger that alert.
That's crazy.
That's a really neat way to kind of get to the bottom of things. And I think what we've seen is it helps eliminate a lot of people from being suspects. So we've seen that
100%.
Kind of like in parole situations and protective orders. So if a spouse has a restraining order and isn't allowed to go to the house or go within 500 meters of it, registered sex offenders not allowed to go within X meters of a school. So you can know this information very, very quickly. It's kind of cool and very, very different. And the reason it's attractive is that it's all of your media. I'm talking with my hands and knocking over my coin microscope. So it's not just your phone. It's your car. It's the drone. It's whatever. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, a quick question, and I'll steal your thunder a little bit because I know how awesome this feature is. Does this also work with your with your timelines? I know you kind of alluded to it already with the door open, door close, and because you're the timelines in Truxton. If you guys have not seen these things, I'm a very basic brain, which anyone who knows me understands this. But you guys is really simple. I can understand it, and will it work in that fashion as well? If I'm bringing in multiple sources and kind of just lays out it all on that beautiful timeline.
Yeah, it really does. And there's one unique thing about timelines. So if you think about the history of timelines, well, 1,000 years ago when I was in school, a timeline meant you put a flag in the ground and, the cop says, tell me everything that happened 2 hours before and 2 hours after time of death. Anybody can do that. That's too easy. What Truxton did is all of the information is based on event types. So think of it this way. We rented a car from BWI Airport and drove it to Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. When we pulled the logs out of that car, guess how many track log points we had? A lot. Guess how many address books of people that connected their phone to a rental car's Bluetooth?
People do that?
318.
Oh,
So we're
man.
trying to solve a case, and we have 177,000 track log points, 66,000 Wi-Fi hertz, and all this information and contacts and email addresses and phone numbers of people that they rented that car 2 years ago. So it's like, yeah. So God bless the tools nowadays, but they get so good, they get so much data, we're creating a bigger cloud of chaff. And your job as an investigator is to cut through the chaff. So if the cloud's getting bigger, you have more stuff to go through. Yeah, it's important information, it's fantastic technological achievement, but at the end of the day, all those track log points, guess how many of them mattered? 1 day's worth, not a year and a half's worth. All of those other people, all of those other phone numbers, they didn't matter. So back to the timeline in Truxton, I can say, only show me vehicle information like starting the car, closing doors, opening doors, and things like that, connecting to Bluetooth, right? I don't care about hearing towers right now, so I'll throw those away. And then show me if I tracked a package. Show me if I missed a phone call, if I sent an SMS, if I missed a call. Okay, so you narrow it down. So when you download your free version of CE, put some stuff in there. And then as you go through the timeline, select event types and just click on a few of them. And you go from 75,000 pieces of evidence to 51. And when you get it to 51, then put in your start and stop time, right? Because what do investigators want to know? What happened? That's an event. When did it happen? That's a time. Where did it happen? That's a location. It's like the 3 dimensions of getting to the bottom of something quickly. Now, does that mean that, yeah, you're just going to run these reports, jump on the stand and say, yeah, Truxton says you did this. All verifiable down to the hex. Use your other tools. So that your Truxton stays in our swim lane. Do we do facial recognition? No. Why not? You really need to. we would suck at it. There are other people that do that better. Do you do decryption? No. Well, why not? We would suck at it. So how do you overcome those deficiencies, Dave? The answer is that Truxton is extendable. So remember we talked about the I Love Lucy conveyor belt? How many cops use Python? I know you use Python. I've seen your stuff. So imagine that a brilliant guy like Kevin DeLong made a Python program that monitored the location of every tweet. Maybe had some crazy
before
thing.
Elon started charging $45,000 a month to access the API, and I'm like, we're done. That project died real fast.
My point would be this. If there's a tool out there for facial recognition for whatever special custom thing that you want, Truxton lets you put that into the conveyor belt. No charge. You do that. If you know Python, all you have to do is plug it in. It's like a tinker toy, man. You just stick it in there in the hub. And what does that do for you? One, it allows you to add extended forensic capabilities to an automated process. So if a file is going down the Truxton conveyor belt and you want a facial recognition, well, what happens is it identifies the file and run this through facial recognition. Okay, I can go to the Azure cloud and go through their cognitive services. I can go through, name some other facial recognition programs. Go through those, and it goes through that program, and it puts it back into Truxton. So you have the original file, and then you have the child file that is the facial recognition and all the additional information. So that allows you to always have the best AI or whatever other tool that you want, or a classified tool. So a lot of our customers are in that space. So they make their own tools that do these magic things, right? So how do I add that magic thing to automatically run on every single phone that I put through here? And it's really simple. I did it. I actually sent facial recognition, a picture of Bob Barker in a fight with, who was that? Happy Gilmore.
The price is wrong, Bob.
Yeah. So it's Bob
I just watched
Barker
that movie the other day. Yeah.
in golf gloves fighting, who's the guy? What's
Adam
the
Sandler.
guy's name?
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. So we put it through Azure Cognitive Services and did facial recognition, and we have the original image in Truxton, and it came back as Bob Barker, and then 85-year-old man likes dogs, and then Adam Sandler, and then golf course. So all of those other AI things that were picked up independent of the face were also in there. And you kind of set that threshold of additional information that you can get out of there. But, so if you find other tools or even services, you can do that. It's very
That's
unique.
pretty amazing.
Different in that way. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Hey, I forgot to tell everybody too, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button. We've only got one like this whole episode. I forgot to ask that. People are so focused on what you're saying.
During spring break.
Yeah, today's everybody's days off. They're like,
I got a fire.
There we go. We got a couple more. So we got a couple more that just came in. So yeah, just smash the like button. Hit subscribe. Also, if you're on our home channel, YouTube, hit the little bell there as well. What that'll do is just send you notifications whenever we do go live or post a new video. And we're posting videos all the time of how to do this, how to that, tip to do this. And then it's really a shenanigan anymore. That we used to put out a lot of weird videos. It's just, we're actually busy now, which is weird, but it is what it is. But if you have any questions for Dave, Dave, how do people get a hold of you?
D. Ryberg at truxtonforensics.com.
There you go. So no drunk dialing, 2 a.m., Ron, talking to you. So just, no spamming
Ron
Dave either.
To share recipes and barbecue secrets and Cajun cooking things.
Yeah.
And hot sauce.
I remember we had a conversation about that hot sauce. Where were you at? Because I was just talking to my wife because we're driving south, and we're gonna go down to ISIS, and I don't know which way we're gonna take yet. I think looking for different things off the beaten.
We were in Asheville, North Carolina, before it got wiped out, and we went to a brew pub or something like that. And
it was across the street, right, or something.
Yeah, because they didn't have food. They said, "Well, can we eat?" We drank quite a bit of beer. Oh yeah, just order, and they'll just bring it. So I'm like, okay. So I can't remember what we ordered. Megan might, but they brought over Cheerwine hot sauce, Cheerwine habanero wings, I think they were. And the bartender was like, "Yeah, be careful. Be careful." I think Megan just laughed. She was like, "Ha!" And the guy just came in with like a little brown bag. And it was, what did you call it, man? It was stupid. It was so hot, it was stupid.
It was stupid.
Yeah. And then I walked over to the place afterwards, and I said, "We want to buy all the hot sauce that you have." So he's like, "Well, we don't bottle it." So he said, "Here, just," he grabbed these big things like plastic, almost like you get potato salad in it. I'm surprised it didn't burn through it. But yeah, just have it. I said, no. I said, here's some money or whatever. And when I walked in there, it wasn't open on that day. And when you open the door, the habanero in the air, you almost needed a gas mask to go in there. And
holy cow.
He's like, "Yeah, we don't open until tomorrow because we have to open all the windows and let all this clear."
You got a hazmat day when they make the sauce.
Yeah, and God bless those people down there. I doubt, because of the location, I would imagine that they got flooded out. I hope not. But the secret was they put all the habaneros in a food processor. They just chop the tops off. And then, so they're grinding up not only that, but the seeds. Oh. And then rather than using, everybody knows use Dr. Pepper or Coke in barbecue sauce or whatever. Since they were a restaurant, they used the syrup. So, when you go to a restaurant or McDonald's, they have vats or those cartons of the syrup, which is the
pre-mixed, right? Before it hits the... Right? Yeah, and before it hits the carbonated water stuff.
And then rather than putting water in there to dilute it, it was mostly apple cider vinegar. So, I think that was the secret as far as that's all I could see or smell by the time I lost most of my senses after I left there. I guess it's debatable how many I had going in, but
right on.
It was wildly good.
Very cool. Very cool. Dave, I appreciate your time. And I looked up and I'm like, oh man, we're 5 minutes after already. That's how quick it went by. So
always great to catch up, Kevin.
Just like that. Absolutely. So guys, if you're interested in Community Edition, truxtonforensics.com. That's truxtonforensics.com. Head on over there. Check them out. You can stalk Dave over there too. So Dave, you're in Cyber Social Hub as well, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So you can reach out to him. Yeah, there you go. That's right. You're one of the OGs.
That's a coin to prove it.
That's right. You got the old school coin. That's so funny. All right, Dave. Hey, hang out. Don't go anywhere. For everyone else, thanks so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. And until then, I will see you guys all next week. Again, Dave, thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.